Welcome to another episode of Everybody's Got Something. I'm your host, Seth Hoffman. Today on the show, we have artist, musician, songwriter Dave Schumann and that guy next door, Fletcher Brinkerhoff. Let's get into it and have a good time. All right, Dave, it is a true pleasure to be sitting next to you and talking to you. I got a chance to see you over the years, but most recently last night at the canteen, which was awesome. But I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and all the incredible things that are happening and you've been doing.
It was a fun night last night. Yeah. Definitely was a fun night. And we really enjoy that venue. And when we get all our people to come out on the same night, it's a blast.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
Yeah, you never know how it's going to go. You play so many times,
exactly.
you hope for the best, but
yeah,
that was a treasure last night.
A little chilly, but everybody hung out, and the heaters kept everybody, warm and comfortable. Yeah. We had them up dancing. Everybody was dancing.
It was a
singing
good time.
along. It was great.
I saw a heck of a lot of smiling faces.
There was a lot of smiling faces.
Yeah.
Ours
full body smiles.
Yeah, full body smiles. Those are the best kind.
Yeah. So maybe tell us, like, where do you come from? Where does your story begin?
300 years ago.
Okay.
No. I grew up in New Jersey, and I ended up dropping out of college, climbing on I was a proud hippie back then. I'm pretty old. This was 1971.
Okay.
And I got on a Volkswagen bus, the cliche, but it actually did happen, with three 20-somethings. And we made a pilgrimage to California, because you kind of had to go to California back then. That was where it was happening.
Yes.
2 years after Woodstock,
With flowers in your hair, maybe.
Oh,
even,
yeah, or at least on the side of the van.
Yes.
But we took a roundabout trip. It took us 32 days to get from there to California. And we went to Canada.
Was this something you discussed with your family, or was it just like,
no, it was pretty much, Dad, I'm taking off. And he was, I guess he was okay with it, because, we spent the whole, I got to California on my 19th birthday, which was very cool, and stayed there for a while, and then two of the people I was with went somewhere else, and the other guy I was with, we hitchhiked back all the way across the country and up to Vermont. Worked that winter to make a little bit of money, spent most of it before we left. We went back to California the next year. Wow. Came back
and
through.
This is like San Francisco area, or where?
Well, we knew some people. My brother had been in the Air Force, and some of the people he had been in the Air Force with were out and living in California, so we kind of knew those people a little bit. Yeah. And so we stopped to visit them, and there was some up there in Vacaville and some down in Ventura, California.
Okay.
So we left from Ventura and we were going to go to Florida, because we hadn't been to the South. And we ended up coming through Albuquerque, where another guy that had been in the service with my brother, who was out now living in Albuquerque, we stopped to visit him, and he invited me to move with him up to the East Mountains. He had a cabin he was going to move into.
And this was 1970?
This is 1972 now.
72 now, okay.
And I said, yeah, okay, sure. I was pretty, whatever.
And did you have your guitar with you? Was music a central part of your life?
I did. Yeah, I was, back in those days, I was pretty much still learning guitar. I actually started out as a drummer in junior high.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was. But then I taught myself how to play guitar, but I'm not sure if I had it during that trip or not. But I don't think I had it during that summer. Mm-hmm. But stayed up in the cabin off of Raven Road in the East Mountains for the summer. And then my brother finally got out of the Air Force. He sent me a plane ticket to come back to be in his wedding, and I missed the flight.
Oh, dear.
I had my dog with me. I missed my flight, and about 2 hours after I missed my flight, my friend Brett says, let's go visit these people I used to know at this house on Grandy. And we ended up going down there, and I met my wife. I met the woman that I spent the next 53 years with.
And can you take us, I like these stories, especially that last so long. Can you take us to that moment where you?
Well, I showed up at this party, and it just happened to be that my wife Tina's sister was having a birthday party at that time, and there was quite a few different people there. Yeah. And somehow or other, we ended up going from there up to Placitas.
Okay.
And when we got to Placitas.
And this is 1972.
72.
So I imagine it's a different
it was
town.
It was very nice. It was cool. And Placitas was, you know, it was still very small, not
Yeah.
much going on. But we knew one family that had been there for a long time, the Greggs, and they were having a party there. So we took the party to Placitas,
Okay.
and we happened to be out watching the sunset at the same time, and we kind of connected and talked to each other. And then after that, we ended up somewhere in the Jemez. I don't know how we got to the Jemez after that, but I remember we were in the Jemez. So anyway, I got my flight 3 days later back to New Jersey for the wedding, and then I bought Tina a plane ticket. She had a 3-year-old daughter, Kimberly, who's now a proud businesswoman in Albuquerque. She has the Angels and Outlaws pet grooming business on Juan Tabo.
All right, we'll put the link to that.
Yeah, do that.
Also,
She's
yeah.
doing great.
Yeah.
And I got Tina a plane ticket. She flew back to New Jersey. We lived at a farm, had a really neat farm for like 6 months, and then we
So was she living in New Mexico?
She was from Albuquerque. She grew up in the North Valley.
Okay.
And went to Valley High.
Mm-hmm.
And so we spent the winter, well, most of that one summer in the fall anyway, in New Jersey, and then we came back to New Mexico and stayed here for the rest of the time. We moved up to Tajique, New Mexico, a little small town in the Manzanos.
Okay.
And we had a little, maybe 500 or 600 square foot house with a windmill, wood stove for heat, and we had an outhouse for the first 2 years. We had 2 little kids. We had goats, chickens, and we paid $100 a month, and it was 700 acres, bordering on the National Forest.
Wow.
But I had to keep the windmill working because that's the only way we had water.
Okay.
And but there was so much pasture that we had a lot of people board horses with us.
Okay.
So my daughter had her pony, and a horse. Well, she had a pony when she was real small, but then she got a horse. And all her friends learned to ride on the pony, named Ginger. My wife had a couple of horses. We probably boarded 6 or 8 horses. As it turned out, when we first moved out there, we happened to pick up a hitchhiker, a pretty young lady, and we told her that we had planned on getting married. She says, well, her husband was the ranger at the Quarai Missions Monument. It's part of Salinas National Monument now. And she said he was a Universal Life minister. He'd probably really enjoyed doing the service for us at the monument. So we ended up getting married at the Quarai Monument. And he actually had several horses that he boarded with us.
And prior to this, were horses a part of your life? Did you?
Oh, they were part of Tina's life.
Okay.
Tina was always a horse person.
Okay.
I ended up walking more than riding.
Okay.
We took several pack trips up into the Manzanos,
Yeah.
and I usually would be the one that would walk and carry some more of the stuff. But
Yeah.
no, my daughter and my wife were big horse people.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and so that was fun. And at that particular time, I was playing guitar quite a bit.
Yeah.
And my wife and my daughter were both working at a restaurant in Estancia, which was about 10 miles east of Tajique, and a restaurant called the Old Co-op. And it was a pretty famous place at the time. People would come from, Albuquerque, Santa Fe to go eat there. And my wife was a waitress, and my daughter was a bus kid.
Yeah.
And the people who bought the place knew that I played guitar, and they said, well, can you put a little, band together to be the house band at the co-op? So
Yeah.
I got in touch with a couple of my friends, Charlie Parker and Bill Anderson, and we made a little trio called Dark Horse.
Okay.
And we started playing
And was this
there.
your first time playing in a group like this?
Well,
Or had you been
we
doing
actually had played a little bit before that with the same people and another guy named Jesse Bernay, who's not with us anymore, but we called ourselves the Apple Mountain Band.
Okay.
And our first gig was at the, what was it called? We played up in the East Mountains,
Yeah.
at the Blarney Stone and a couple of places up there. But
Yeah.
Dark Horse started at the Estancia at the Old Co-op.
Wow.
And unfortunately, the Old Co-op burned down. And that was the end of that. But we kept playing. And
do you remember what were on the set lists back then?
well, back then we were still doing Grateful Dead. We did a lot of Grateful Dead. We did a little bit more country flavored music. Charlie, the bass player, was a little bit more of a country kind of a guy.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting a sax player named Gary Werner to play with us. And he had a great voice. He would do some Cab Calloway stuff. He sounded like Louis Armstrong.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
it was something cool, yeah. So we had a lot of fun. And that lasted all the way up till, I think our last gig was in 2000.
Okay.
And then just at that time, I met Steve Kinnebrew, who's our bass player now.
Yeah.
And he was doing a lot of solo acoustic gigs. went to see him one night. We hit it off, and we started playing together. Then we got a female vocalist named Stephanie Hatfield from Santa Fe, and we started a trio called Bella Luna.
Okay.
And we played as Bella Luna for, I think it lasted maybe 2 years. And then Stephanie went her own way, and we ended up getting Randy to come in and play with us as a trio. Then we got a drummer, and we decided to call the band Odd Dog, because Odd Dog happened to be an old cartoon character of mine.
Okay.
I used to do cartoon strips. I do a lot
Maybe
of artwork. Yeah.
It can lead us into. Do we have Odd Dog as a
well,
image or?
Odd Dog. This is the logo for Odd Dog, but Odd Dog originally, my cartoon, was about. It was called The Adventures of Boppo and Odd Dog, and that wasn't even hit. That wasn't even it back then. Boppo was he was kind of a Charlie Brownish kind of a character kid who had a dog, and they would go on adventures like to find the meaning of life and all these philosophical journeys.
Sounds awesome.
But and his dog was actually a pygmy hippo, and that's why he was called Odd Dog.
Oh,
so when it came to naming the band, I kind of brought that name up, and it kind of stuck. So then we changed the logo to be something a little bit more wacky, I guess.
Yes.
So that's how Odd Dog became Odd Dog.
All right.
That's
Well,
how
we
got
actually
started.
have a little bit of a clip. I wonder if we can see a little.
Oh, this is last night, yeah. The canteen. We had people singing along. A good time was had by all.
Yes. I mean, experiences like this is the kind of thing you can't buy an experience like that.
No,
These are just
no.
things you get blessed with.
You know, we try to be right in the moment when this is going on. When you have a good night like that, you want to just, absorb it all.
Yeah. So one of the things, like in a moment like this, I'm of course a musician. I've seen many, but those were one of those moments I was up there. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get to talk to this guy tomorrow. But I was thinking, like, what is he thinking now? What is he feeling now? Looking back here, I'm seeing it from this end. What is it? What did that look like and feel like at a moment like that?
One of the things about playing music is very meditative because you are always right in that moment. You don't have, when you're remembering lyrics and playing licks, you can't be anywhere but right in that moment.
Yeah.
So in between singing and playing, looking out and seeing people even in the back dancing and singing along.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit of euphoria. You know, it's euphoric. It is.
I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like if an asteroid should smash us tomorrow or whatever, like I was not shortchanged,
No.
to have a moment like that.
Yeah, no, it was
Pretty incredible. And I was telling you just the smiles on these people's faces and just the joy of so many people that really can only happen when you come together in a moment like that. And a lot of these songs are songs that people dear to people's hearts, in addition to your original songs.
We've had people say it's like a love bomb goes off.
Yeah, I mean that's what it felt like.
It was a great,
I got in my car, I was like,
great
whoa.
description. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, incredible. Well, and you're going to tell us a little bit about the song you're going to play for us today.
Yeah, we've got 3 CDs, and they're all original. This was the first one, called Worldview, and that's the name of the title track on this. I tend to get a little political once in a while, without being too forceful about it. And I try to mix a little comedy in with it. And before I go on with that, I want to let you know that all 3 of these were recorded at Randy Clark's studio. This was at his first studio. And he's just put a new studio in up in Cedar Crest. And it's called Big Cat Tracks. And it's state of the art. And it's just, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's top of the line everything.
Wow.
And so it's a joy to be up there recording. We recorded this one, this is the last one we did up there. And now we're back in the studio again doing some new stuff. And he's got a streaming service called Barking Dog Records that he plans on releasing. This is all going to be gotten together in December. So
and what is that? What will that be? What does that do?
Well, he's going to have all of our music on it, plus the music from several other people. It's going to start small, but he wants to bring in some more artists to put their work on it. And he's going to have a streaming service, and he'll have to you'll have to get him on. He'll tell you all the
I
details.
would love to, yeah.
Yeah. But so we recorded this up there, and one of the songs on here is called Dissident. And it's a song that maybe the first verse or two I wrote back during the Reagan administration, believe it or not. And it's just kind of laid around for a long time. And I brought it back out about a year ago or so and looked at it and said, you know, I think I'm going to update this. So I finished it off and polished it up a little bit and turned it into a song called Dissident. And so I figured I'd sing that today. A lot of people like it. They tend to sing along with it now, which is very cool.
All right, well, let's check out Dissident.
All right, this song is called Dissident, and it's about, 3.5 minutes long. You know, there's been a lot of songs written about American cultural icons. Cowboys, pioneers, folk heroes and the like. Why, even outlaws and gamblers have been immortalized in song. But somehow, I've been overlooked. Truth be told, I played a key role in each and every episode of cultural and political upheaval since the birth of this great nation. But nobody's ever written a song about me. Till now. I'm a great American dissident. I don't pay no rent, live up in the hills in a tent. But every once in a while I gotta wake 'em up, I gotta shake 'em up, that's who I am. There's injustice in the motherland, somebody's got to take a stand. You'll see me down there in the picket line. Well, you might not like the things I say, but I'm gonna say them anyway. I've never been afraid to speak my mind. I was beat in Selma, shot at Kent. I disobeyed my government. I moved forward from the back seat of the bus. Well, I stood for you, and I stood for me at Standing Rock and Wounded Knee, and I hope the history books remember us. 'Cause I'm a great American dissident. I don't pay no rent, live up in the hills in a tent. But every once in a while I gotta wake 'em up, I gotta shake 'em up, that's who I am. Throughout history I've led the fight for liberty, human rights, independence, and equality. An agitator I've been called, a rabble-rouser, and that ain't all, but I just can't seem to trust authority. Now Woody sang for the common man as he rode the rails across this great land, and Will never met a man he didn't like. Still they rallied the workers just the same against the men that rigged the game. I'm just like them, but not so polite. Yes, I'm a great American dissident. I don't pay no rent, live up in the hills in a tent. But every once in a while I gotta wake 'em up, I gotta shake 'em up, that's who I am. I've been anti-Nixon and anti-Castro, anti-this and anti-that, so you might think I'm just an angry guy. Now I'm anti-GMO, anti-war, I'm anti-Wall Street, what is more, I'm anti-social, I'm a radical, it's no lie. But it was a radical that started the revolution, that gave you and me our Constitution. It's a radical idea, democracy. And it was a radical that first sailed around the world. When I see them stars and stripes unfurled, I wonder just where in hell this country'd be without me. Yes, I'm a great American dissident. I don't pay no rent, live up in the hills in a tent. But every once in a while I gotta wake 'em up, I gotta shake 'em up, that's who I am. Power to the people.
Incredible masterpiece, if I dare say so. So, are you? I imagine you're a pencil and paper writer. How did that song?
Yeah. It's all pencil and paper. I do a lot of rewrites. I mean, I have sheet after sheet before I get them right. Once in a while, something comes together really quick.
Yes.
This one I took a while. But,
and I like that. And it's a good lesson to know. Sometimes if you start something, if it doesn't come, it doesn't mean it's not going to be something. Let it simmer. Sometimes things need years, as you were saying.
And like I said, I try to mix a little bit of humor in with, to balance out the seriousness of the subject, because, I think it makes it a little easier to listen to, easier to take. It's not like you're being,
I mean, that's where the true word artist, I think, comes from, to have the skills to be able to play and to be able to sing and to convey a message. But what good is a message if it can't be received?
Yeah, there you go,
so to be able to say something in a way that can get really anyone can hear the message and understand it. Before we talk, I want to talk about your art. I just want to talk real quick though about your. I noticed many people, and I don't hold against anyone for using an iPad or anything like that for the words, because I know everyone's different and all that. But I was singing the songs. I was looking for yours, and I was amazed at your ability. I wonder if you could just speak on that briefly.
I don't know what it is. I've always had the gift of being able to remember lyrics, and once I learn them, they're there. And I surprise myself sometimes, but I do know a lot of songs, and a lot of really long Bob Dylan songs and long Grateful Dead songs. And I don't know if they, I've been very fortunate that they're there when I need them. Yes. And there are times when I walk I'm up to the microphone after a lead break, and it's like, oh, I don't know what the next line is, but when it comes time, it's there.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's like the brain's like a computer. It's like you hit the folder and it just opens.
No, it's pretty cool.
Incredible.
I'm blessed with that gift, and I keep trying to, bring in new stuff that's a challenge to me.
Yeah.
And I always try to do that. I think it's good for you.
I think that's what keeps you young. I mean, keeps your mind healthy.
Yeah, I'm actually 140 years old.
I know. I was gonna say, when he told me 140, I was like, wow, you're really incredible.
And I know a lot of lyrics.
Yeah, and this is no joke. Great grandfather, you're telling me.
I am a great grandfather. That's right.
Incredible.
My daughter
has. And I don't just mean he's a great, wonderful grandfather. Yeah. A great grandfather,
My daughter Kimberly, and she has she has two boys. And her youngest boy, Joshua and Lucas. Joshua has 3 girls. No, she has, I'm going to get this right. Alexiana is the oldest. Xavier is the boy in the middle. And Zara is the youngest.
Okay, beautiful names.
Yes, and they're all out here. Alexiana and Xavier are in Belen, and Zara lives on the west side.
All right. Well, you wonderful kids, you got a pretty awesome great-grandfather, so enjoy him. Wow, incredible. Well, tell us about, so I've always known you as a musician, and you have an incredible other whole world of art.
I do.
Can tell us about that.
I actually made most of my living doing my artwork. My most recent things, well, not most recent, but I've done a couple of children's books. I wrote and illustrated them. And I have if you were to get onto, if you were to Google David Schumann, New Mexico.
And we'll put these links up there.
You can find some of the illustrations from these books, and I always have them. You can find these on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, but I always try to have some with me wherever we play.
If you see, they're posted somewhere. Yeah. Incredible. And so, out of curiosity, how did you, from all the things you did, go down that path? Oh man, I'm gonna do some illustration, writing kids' books.
Yeah, well, I've done a lot of artwork. I mean, starting when I first came out here. I mean, how much time do we have?
I don't know, we've got about another 8 minutes, but whatever we don't finish, we'll have a sequel episode.
Oh, there you go. Now, when I first came out here, I was doing graphics on leather, and I just happened to meet this guy in Albuquerque named John Norman Roberts. Back at the time, he was a pretty well-known goldsmith, and he was doing work for Maxie Anderson and Ben Abruzzo, and he saw some of my work and loved it. So he had a gallery on 4th and Griegos, and he brought my stuff into his gallery. So I got to do some work for all those people too, which was cool. But
And
then
did you go to school for this or training or just
no,
self-taught?
I never took an art lesson. I never took a music
right?
lesson.
Is
No,
that
I just self-developed. I just was too stubborn to stop.
You got a special brain in that head.
Yeah, I keep trying to use it, you know.
Yeah.
But then over the years, like I said, I was doing some cartoons. I worked as a sign painter for a little while and learned some brush skills there. And just started doing, a lot of decorative art murals.
Okay.
And I've done murals in quite a few different places. And, I just decided it would be kind of fun to do, some illustrations in my studio without having to climb on a ladder anymore.
Yeah.
So I did, this one is about, Party for the Moon is about animals with musical instruments. You get to see, the kids get to see what a guitar looks like, what a bassoon looks like, And then this is a counting book for counting for like younger kids. So they were fun. They were fun, and I've done a lot of more fine art. There's a place in the East Mountains called the Triangle Grocery, and there are 3 big 6 by 10 foot canvases in the back that I did wildlife scenes on.
Is that right?
And so those were pretty interesting too. And it was funny because I traded her, the lady who owned the grocery store, I traded her half cash and half groceries, which was always works out well with me. I don't mind, I can work at anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything from cartoons to fine art, murals. I did a lot of decorative painting and faux finishing back in the day, and I still do. Some painting companies call me once in a while if they have some specialty painting that needs to be done, and I'll still get up and do that. Although I'm trying not to get up on scaffolds much anymore.
Yeah, that's why. Well, I'm sure, especially for the longevity of music, you don't want to take a spill and not be able to play guitar to these things.
Yeah, I really don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, so. Do people, you said you didn't go to art school and all that. Do people from your younger life, you're like, what? You're an artist. You do these things. Like well, when did this happen?
People who grew up with me always knew. Like I said, I started playing drums when I was in 8th grade. I actually played Wipeout with the band for my freshman orientation dance, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But they got to be too much of a hassle to set up, and so I ended up getting a secondhand guitar from my sister-in-law, who got it on a whim and never played it.
Okay.
And just taught myself how to play some stuff. And for a while, we used to call it the campfire circuit. Before we had a band, there was always parties in the East Mountains, and we'd go and we'd sit around the campfire, and I'd be the one at the end of the night trying to remember how many partial Neil Young songs I could remember. And there were always partial Neil Young songs. But no, and everybody knew I loved to draw. I've always been drawing since I was a kid, so that was kind of a natural.
Was that like when you were in class, or kind of like
a kid always doodling? Yeah. Oh, forever. Yeah.
Oh, incredible. So, is there something you haven't done that you're thinking,
Yeah, I haven't climbed Mount Everest, and I don't have any plans to do that.
Okay.
No. I'm so lucky. I've been with my wife Tina, like I said, for. And she's great. We've been together for 53 years, and feel incredibly blessed to have a friend and a companion and that I can still love and be happy with for so long.
Can you share just a bit of wisdom for all those who would aspire and dream to be with their partner?
Well, it starts with being lucky enough to find the right person.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of luck involved, but then it's I don't know. Somebody once said it's not a 50-50. It's a 100-100. You put 100% in, she puts 100% in. That works out. You don't try to cut it down the middle. You do what you can.
Score of these
and
things.
You try to be nice, and try not to hold on to grudges. Keep the pride out of it as much as possible. But she's taught me a lot, kept me humble. But she's my biggest fan, my biggest supporter.
Incredible. Well, you just from the little I'm hearing, it sounds like you won the lottery 100 times over with just these experiences, being able to play music, to spread joy.
I am definitely experience rich, but monetarily I am not rich at all. But I am very lucky. I own my own home outright, which is the only thing that makes it possible for me to do what I do.
Yeah. And so, if someone were to say, are you a musician first or an artist first? Not that anyone needs to choose one, but
I think right now it varies. But I think my passion is music, because music is something that gives you an instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a struggle. Sometimes you play to an empty house, right?
Yeah.
But you still try to make it about the music. You know,
Yeah.
you still try to put the energy into the music, and that's why, you know, the way I write and the songs that we pick to play are all they're lyric based. So
Yeah.
it's, you know, there's a message to the lyrics. There is something spiritual that you can get out of singing them and listening to them.
Yes.
So you know, it makes it a little bit more real, instead of just trying to play up-tempo stuff just to get people. I mean, it's great when people dance, and when they're dancing, we try to keep them up dancing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, on other nights, we do a totally different set of music. We never make a set list. We always wing it, kind of feel out what the crowd is into at the time.
Which was pretty impressive, because there wasn't, I didn't notice too much like discussion. It just sort of seemed like it flowed from one song to the next.
It flows. I normally get an idea of what the next song should be about halfway through the song I'm singing.
And it's incredible, because you know how your mind must be thinking, because you've got all these words, and you're also playing like leads on top of some of these things here. You're noticing what's around you. You're thinking what song's coming next. I mean, it's a pretty magical process.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I definitely get feedback from the band, Steve and Randy and Chris. And you know, a lot of times turn back to Chris. I say, okay, hey Chris, what do you want to play? You know, because I got to give them you know, they got to get their shots in there too.
Sure.
And Chris loves to do his drum solos. And he's a great drummer. You know, we got really talented people.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Yeah. And any words of wisdom as far as being in a band to keep a harmonious group?
You know, if you put, you know, musicians together that have been doing it a long time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just have confidence that they know what they're going to do their best, and make sure that if they're doing their best, there's no place to criticize. You know, we're all going to screw up once in a while, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you just have faith that they're doing what they're doing, and don't nitpick.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
let it flow.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's been incredible just to hear these little bits of chapters. I hope to hear a heck of a lot more.
Oh, I'm glad you came out. I was really happy to see you.
Yeah, I was so.
You're gonna come back and see us again, right?
I can't wait. I'll be so. Just filled my heart. As soon as, I mean, before I even got out of the car, it was just radiating. The good feelings were just. And then, like, you know, when you open the door, I'm like, okay. I was like, felt like a little kid. I was like running inside. It's like, come on, give me my beer. I want to go in there. Incredible. Well,
Seth, it was a pleasure, my friend.
Real pleasure, and God bless you, all that you do, all that you create, all the lives you touch, all your family. We're lucky to just share this world with you, and just blessings to all you are doing and creating, and I hope to see and hear a lot more of it, and hope to continue our conversation.
Let's do it.
All right. All the best, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, we are here with Fletcher Brinkerhoff, the finest neighbor anyone could hope for. He is truly the man next door, the man across the street. Pleasure to have you and to get to chat with you here.
Yeah.
We get to chat usually over some ping pong, table tennis. So now we'll try it without our paddles. But
I know.
So I wonder if you could just tell us a little about your story. Tell us who you are, where you come from.
Oh, well, yeah, that's big. I mean,
here we are in New Mexico
know,
now,
right?
but you're from. Where'd you start out? Where'd you start out in this world?
Oh my gosh! You know what? I'm proud of the fact that I came from Safford, Arizona. I always like to throw that out there, so just see if there's any.
And where's like of the square of Arizona?
So
where's
Arizona,
that? Wisconsin. We
south,
can do this thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Down south, I
Okay.
guess, for that direction. So south and east. Yeah, from Safford, Arizona. Grew up, loved it there. Kind of a river farming town and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But grew up there, loved it.
Can you tell us a little bit? Take us back to the young boy of Fletcher.
Oh.
What was the early days of Fletcher's life like?
It was kind of one of those things where riding around on bikes, being in places, you know.
It was like in the country, in a little suburb neighborhood.
We were the city. We were the big city, but it wasn't that big. You know, there's some neighboring towns and cities about us and everything. And one high school, one middle school, elementary, you know, kind of place. So wonderful. Able to get right outside town and play out in the desert and have a good times. Yeah.
Like just you could just take your bike, you could just
take
you were your own transportation.
Just head on out, and other people would follow along, and get into all kinds of fun.
And what was the family? You come from a big family?
So you know
Small
what I wouldn't call it a big family, but we had presence there because my family had been in that area for a while, but a lot of them had moved on. But my dad stuck around. He was a general contractor there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and so was able to do a lot of construction growing up, and then. Yeah.
So is that where you learned? Because you're pretty handy. Across the street, there's always projects going on over there.
Oh my goodness!
Was that plant the seed for some of those?
Yeah, you know what? Planted the seed. It probably gave me this like unreasonable confidence in just being able to figure things out. I got that and everything. But the reality is, like nowadays, I just look stuff up on YouTube like everybody else.
Right. But to know, I mean, anyone can look it up, but to think, okay, I can look that up and then be able to somehow make that happen.
Yeah, that ridiculous sense of confidence. Yeah, it came in handy.
Yes.
Comes in handy.
Yeah. So what were some of the first projects you did? I know you've done some research, but what were some of the things that first started building that confidence? Like, well, look what I did. I made this, or I fixed this. Oh,
I mean, silly stuff, like whether it be welding and fabricating things. My dad was a contractor, as I mentioned, and I took a high school, I might have been junior or senior, and I took this like drafting course, or it might have been like just a semester, and next thing you know, I'm out meeting with people drawing up plans for their homes as like a high schooler, and so it's kind of ridiculous. Like I said, like why not? You know, you growing up with this attitude of like, I could do that, why not? You know?
And is this something, do you feel that was inborn, or did you have some very encouraging people in your life, or that was just part of your essence?
I just have been fortunate that like I had situations where my dad and my mom were like, oh, sure, go ahead, knock yourself out. And there's I had a place to do that and work with people to draw homes and have them and see them actually built and everything like that. So that's kind of didn't think about it at the time like that, but now, oh my goodness, you think back about it, you're 16, 17 and you're drafting something, working with somebody, coming up with ideas and creating things, and then all of a sudden you get to see it built. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. From an idea to the physical world, it's like
wonderful.
If you dream it, it is, or how far the quote is. Wow. Okay, so grew up Arizona, and now what happened between then and your time here in New Mexico? Can you tell us about your coming of age time?
Oh my goodness. I ended up, I thought I was going to be in Safford for longer than I was, but I ended up starting work in, I moved to Tucson for work, to stream gauge, to measure rivers, to working with the U.S. Geological Survey at the time.
And so just for those who are not so familiar with stream gauging and all that goes on, what are some of the things you're looking for, or your data you're collecting and all this?
So I worked in surface water. There's different departments, I guess you would say, or specialties or practices. Surface water, so stream gauging, and that would be measuring water flow for major rivers, and in Arizona that would have been like the Colorado River or the Gila River or some other rivers, and tributaries to those main rivers, because people want to know how much water there is. People want to know if there's no water,
And so the question in everyone's mind, should we be worried?
Oh goodness, don't ask me that.
No.
I think we should always pay attention.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of looking at it. Pay attention, look at the data, it's out there. But I really enjoyed my job. It was a wonderful job. It got me outside a lot.
Yes, because I know you're a lover of the outdoors, and so what a great thing for your office, at least part of the time, to be out in nature.
No, so it was good. It was one of those things that got me outdoors. I was, at the time, one of the big things that really I identified with, or identified me, helped me identify what passions in life was climbing. And I started that when I was fairly young in Safford, and that's one of those things that I've done outdoors and stuff, you know, up until now even, you know. It's
like
one of
with
those
the
things.
ropes and all.
Yeah, climbing, rock climbing, mountaineering, stuff like that.
Incredible.
And so, but outdoor things, working with USGS got me outdoors, and it's been a wonderful work.
Incredible. And so, and then that brought you to New Mexico?
Yeah, those types of things, just being able to work outdoors, being around rivers and beautiful places is something that I knew I wanted to stick with and everything. And so that type of work brought me to New Mexico, brought me to Albuquerque in particular.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you are a family man also. You have a wonderful, wonderful family. I wonder if you could tell us how that
thank you,
started.
Yeah, you know, that started in Tucson. I met my wife, Becca, there. I think I was in a situation where I was invited over to go meet somebody, and my roommate was invited to meet Becca. And I ended up meeting Becca instead. And so I just saw.
And it was just right away, just kind of something clicked?
Yeah, you know, it was pretty fun. Like, I remember just noticing like some jewelry she had, and then finding out really quickly she made it, and so she created things, and it was kind of fun to talk about that, and it was fun. Got us talking.
Incredible. So you thought, I think I could see a nice future with this person.
Yeah.
And you have amazing kids. I mean, I'm not just saying that. Each of your kids are such incredible people, and I hope to learn from you as however they got to be like that. I know it has something to do with parenting. I wonder if you could maybe tell us a little bit about your kids and your parenting philosophy, because it's a special thing.
Yeah, you know, I'll say about parenting, all kids are different, all right? Like, I'm going to state all these obvious things, and it doesn't even make any sense until you're familiar with it. But I mean, like, I remember we read a lot of books. We read so many books, and then our first kid came along, and they fell asleep right away, and it was so easy, and
I'm good.
We're all patting ourselves.
So
we're all patting ourselves on the back, like
done.
It was that book we read, you know, like And then you start to have other kids, and you start to realize, like, oh, we don't know anything, you know, and then everybody takes their turn showing you what you don't know, no matter who the kid was, and so. It's one of those things where we try our hardest, and still try every day and pay attention and just realize it's a process. But yeah, we have 3 kids, and they all have their different specialties. They're all the things that they love, that they're drawn towards, and it's fun watching those processes in their lives and encouraging that. And forcing some other things. Sometimes, you know, as parents, you're like, oh no, you need to practice that violin, or you know. Stuff like that. But other than that, they have their own things. That's fun to watch them grow with.
And how do you work with, like, the balance of, there's certain things that are kind of non-negotiable things, and certain things like art I need to sort of step back and allow some freedom. Okay, this is their interest or with the decision they're making. You know, granted, you know, you're the parent, they're the kid, but certain times, when to let them make the choice, and when to kind of say, okay, I need to make this choice for you.
Yeah, you know, in this day and age, it seems like we're really, I don't know, maybe I'd say I feel confident saying we're more aware now of certain things than we were when I was being raised and everything, about different pressures and expectations, and what that might mean for growth, development down the road and everything. And so with that in mind, we try to make the best decisions. But, you know, that might look like we always question ourselves. I guess that's the first thing, is we realize that we don't know that much, and so we're always questioning ourselves, like, is this okay? Like they should just go with this, right? This is a family thing, like. You know, take away a little bit of their liberty, because
when I was a kid, I didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice. But the reality is really trying to walk that line of, like, helping push them, and at the same time just see what creativity comes about, where you can help them follow those things too. So
And I know you are also a traveler. You travel with your family. You take some trips. Is there an adventure, a trip, maybe even before your family, or something that kind of, you know, a certain trip sometimes kind of define almost our lives, or this is like a defining experience. Anything come to mind either with the family or on your own in your youth of a journey you've been on?
I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say I'm a traveler, but I will say that
I see you leaving your house a lot, taking
Yeah.
exciting toys and going places.
That's true. I would say that any travel that we've done has been always left an impression. A couple things that I've learned is you're always going to find a fascinating place, and you're going to want to go back and explore more elements of it. And then at that point, you realize I could go. There's so many more places just like this.
Okay.
You could just keep moving.
And so how do you balance that? Do you resist the? Because I know there's some places you do go back to, and some places you say, okay, well, let's try something new.
Well, that's true. You have your places that you frequent. Maybe it might be a camp spot or a section of river or something like that. And then sometimes you go out and you find new places. It could be just across the state line.
Yes.
I remember just my wife one time, she was trying to figure out a trip that was close to take one of the kids and everything, and they just ended up they literally just tossed a coin and they ended up in like one of the Dakotas, you know, and it ended up being like a very wonderful trip, you know.
Incredible.
And so it could be anywhere. People are always doing something. That's what always fascinates me. People are living, they're doing things, they're having fun. Things are happening in places. And so it's fun to go see what's going on, whether it's in another country, whether it's, just next door, people are doing things, whether it's here. Coming here was wonderful. Yeah.
Is there a place that you would like to visit, some place in the world that you think, I would like to explore this place or experience this, country or state or city? I do a lot of stuff just based off of impressions and feelings, and one of those, I want to go a place, maybe people could let me know, I want to go to a place where I could sit down, someplace that's old, that's been there forever, a place where people have processes and things that they've been doing forever, something that they're known for. I want to find that place. I want to go sit down and I want to watch people and I want to walk around and I want to just see what I see and everything. I remember a trip to the Yucatan one time, and we allowed ourselves to kind of veer off from what we perceived as being the main path that most people would go, and we ended up in a village, and we ended up in this place that was known for making hammocks and stuff like that. We saw a lot of hammocks, and we're like, well, maybe there's something to this. So we ended up walking through these towns and everything, and seeing people living. I remember driving, kind of infringing on somebody's space, but I remember going by and seeing a whole entire family in their front room, and the only reason I can see them is because they were watching the TV. And they were all sitting on a hammock together, all just kind of cuddled in this hammock that was strung up in the living room, and they're just watching their TV, and we're in this really neat place and just having a good time, and nothing big going on, no festivals, but people living, and that was really fun. That was a treat. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you gave us some photos. I would like to see some of the photos we're going to see. I wonder if you could just speak a little bit on some of these that we're going to show, and just a little bit. So tell us. I know it, but where did this image come from?
So I was sitting there one day, and I thought, what would my neighbor Seth want to see if he walked out his front door?
Well, thank you. You chose correctly.
And so I did not paint it. Oh, actually, I helped paint it, but I'm not the artist responsible for really coming up with all this. It was one of our friends out of Tucson. Her name is Sabrina Vincent. And she has this theme that she does with this connectiveness, and you might see it in the picture, how they're connected through beard and hair, and and it seems very intimate. And so anyways, so we invited her to come and see if we could create something together. And so this is kind of what we came up with, and this is on the side of our house.
I personally, I just want to thank you for that, because I love what it brings to the corner, to our neighborhood. It's just, rather than just a house. It's thank you for the art. There's more art around the quotes you do.
I mean, there's a lot going on with that, and it still makes me happy to see nowadays.
Yeah. Well, let's see this one. We were seeing this river.
Yeah. That's, my work has taken me to riverways. One of the first times I ever went down the Grand Canyon, this is the Grand Canyon, was for work. Now, this is not a work trip, but I've been able to go back and return to some of these special places. And that was during this last trip. Did
you get
poured
out of the boat there?
That's me under the boat.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's it. That's one of the bigger
was that
rapids.
Fun, or was that kind of scary moment?
That was not intentional, and that was what happens when, anything can happen in the Grand Canyon, and that's one of the things that does happen in the Grand Canyon, to me anyway.
Yes.
And so, so talk about traveling. We have my sister-in-law. She lives in Alaska, and she does a lot of arts, and she does silks and other circus type things. And so she's in charge of, or she has been asked to run a camp, a summer camp in Talkeetna, Alaska.
Oh, so this is where your kids go?
Yeah,
so that's their camp.
Our kids go to either participate, or we show up to help. And like I mentioned earlier with climbing, that's kind of taken me in different places with rigging. And here I kind of use some of those skills to help rig and prepare things and for their shows and whatnot. But so that's kind of the kids up there, and they're doing their silks and getting ready for the performance that they do. They do some performances after they have done about 3 weeks of practice and learning. And so it's a wonderful thing. Talkeetna, Alaska is a wonderful little town.
Amazing.
Yeah. And this is just a picture of when we moved here. This is recent picture, but when we moved here, it wasn't too long before COVID came along, and I just was at home, and I felt like, I'm just going to make a boat. I'm going to make a dory. So I made a wood dory, and
had you ever made a boat?
I had never made a boat of this size. I made a little dinghy sailboat, and I've made some other things. But I mean, I just sat out front. It was like, this was a special project. I didn't have a garage at the time, and so I was making it out in the front yard. Yes. Oh, actually, I started in our living room.
Oh,
I started in our living room, and then we slid it out the front door, and I finished in the front. And it enabled me to just talk to a bunch of other people during COVID and talk to people as they walk by and ask questions. And so it was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, and that seems like who would have thought that that's a rarity now, to be out and talking and getting to know your neighbors, which is
COVID was something.
I mean, I miss that, and that's why anytime I see people outside, it's like, thank you, like, being outside and just bringing some connection.
Yeah.
Incredible. And so you've used this boat, and is it
seaworthy?
And
it is riverworthy. It's fun. It's a fun boat. It's pretty special.
Incredible. Well, with COVID and all the other different things that have come our way, the challenges of life, anytime you watch the news, there's a lot of heaviness and all this. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with it? Because at least my experience with you is you're a pretty positive person. I know we're not always positive. We have our moments, but what kind of keeps you going? I know creating and just keeping moving, but if you can speak to the state of the world and how you're managing with it all.
Yeah, one thing, or just people. Being around people that are creating things, that have done something, anything. It doesn't have to be anything, standing something up in your front yard, arranging the rocks in a certain way. Like, everybody has like something that they're doing.
Everybody's got something.
Everybody's got something. Yeah. And so, getting out there, seeing what people are doing, stopping, and if somebody has something interesting, knocking on their front door, asking what made you think about this, what's going on, and start talking to people. a lot of us are looking for excuses to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And people really are like I'm one of those people. Like, I want to meet people. I want to see what's going on. People are always doing something. They got their own way of doing things, and it's really fun to find that. And
so kind of maybe part of what I'm hearing is there's a million things we could be focusing on. We could focus on the doom and gloom of this,
yeah,
but we can also focus on what people are creating, what people are working on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I would say you pass something and it brings a little bit of joy to you or curiosity, maybe stop, turn back around, knock on that person's door.
And have you done that like in our neighborhood?
People have done that to me.
I've
done that to them.
I mean, your house is, it's hard to just walk by. It's
yeah,
really,
no, I love it when people stop and talk. I love it. I love opportunities to stop and talk. And yes, I do knock on that door.
Well, yeah. I appreciate that. That's something because our family, we like to walk around the neighborhood, and we're always surprised at how few people are walking around in the neighborhood. It's such a wonderful neighborhood. It seems like a lost art of just going for a nice walk. So anytime I hear of it, I'm happy and hope it sort of like our patterns ripple and inspire others to do that, because it's good to. I think some of the negativity in the world causes people to become reclusive, and to resist that. Right.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Well, how do you, as a father, communicating with your kids just about life? I know one thing that they have going is they seem like they're also very interested in their hobbies and arts and stuff and things like that. You ever talk about the state of the world, or they say, Dad, what's going on with this? Or fortunately not much, or what's that been like?
What's interesting is I feel that kids pay attention. They more so, I feel pretty comfortable, or at least for myself. Kids nowadays are paying way more attention than I ever used to. And they're latching on to a lot of what we do say when they're sitting off to the side and listening. And so it is important to talk to them directly about that. And they do have opinions on what's going on, and they are shocked too, and surprised and happy the same way we are. And so it's good to talk about those things for sure. Yeah.
Well, wonderful. So before we go, I wonder if there's any people in your life that you would say have been exceptional influences as far as the person you are, the man you are, the father you are. Anyone come to mind as far as a very, maybe he's not even someone you met, even an artist? I don't know. Who has made Fletcher who he is?
This is one of those questions where there's so much goes into it. You're never going to say the right thing, and so off the top of my head, I will say that. That's a hard question.
Okay.
I'll say people. I say
just all the people you meet.
All the people. Just all the people.
Everyone's
out
your
there.
teacher.
Yeah. When I talk with you, I'm learning, and so like, I love paying attention to people and seeing what they're doing. Just keep out there. If you're out there and you're wondering if people don't know you or understand or hear you, people are. And you are making an impression. Everybody makes an impression. Everybody has something to offer. And it might sound trite, but it's really true. When I think about that, all these things, I've received inspiration from so many people, whether it's a well-known artist or whether it's just people just up and down the street and every day.
Yeah. So. Well, that's a heck of a message to close with, and I think for everyone to know out there that you have something very special to offer. So many people, I think, suffer with this feeling of insignificance, but really a conversation can change our whole mindset, can change our whole direction. So thank you for that. Just that is a credible reminder, and I'm sure grateful for that, and I'm grateful to talk with you today and for all of our conversations. Yeah. But I wish you blessings to your wonderful, wonderful family.
Thank you.
Very, very, very fortunate to know you.
Yeah.
To hear a bit more of your story, and hope to continue hearing the story of the adventures of Fletcher Brinkerhoff.
Thank you.
All right, my friend.
Everybody's got something that nobody else has got.